Hello and welcome to today's video. I'd like to thank Solbio for actually supporting this channel. And Solbio is a completely natural toilet fluid. It can be also used in the waste tank. It's environmentally friendly as it's made from completely natural ingredients. So if you'd like to know more about this product, there'll be more at the end of the current video, and there will be links below. Thank you. Hello, today I've got this van here which I think is quite interesting from a number of points of view. It's a Rapido C55, not quite a compact van, but almost a compact van. It'll cost nearly 81,000 euros and 672 centimeters long, 217 width, 275 in height. So it's narrow, and I would have to say it gives the impression of actually being higher than it really is. So I'm going to come in here and show you all about it. I'm even going to close the door. The reason I'm closing the door is because somebody started using a vacuum cleaner. Let's go to the back. Now, as a rule, I'm not impressed by Rapido as a brand, but this vehicle I think has got a lot going for it. So at the back we've got this German layout, and we've got this bit which will fit in here. Obviously there'll be a plate to stop it falling out somewhere, and so that's the size of the bed. Let's come back a bit, see how big the bed is. Not bad, that. Well, okay, lots of them the same size, so okay, that's nothing unusual maybe. Let's have a look at the storage solutions we got here. Right, so it's quite deep. Put my hand in as far as it'll go, and it's got a ledge, so it's quite nice. It's got this silly ledge up here, don't know what that's for, but at least it has put another storage compartment here like that for travelers to use. And it's got a window on both sides. As you'd expect, of course, with a vehicle of this nature. You have down here a wardrobe, but if going that far down is too difficult for you, what you can do, push this over to one side, if I can. I'm trying. And then lift this up like that. Look at that enormous, really, wardrobe in here. I appreciate the whole area can't be used for hanging space, because part of it is this bit here, which is used for the external part of the vehicle. But all the same, that's a pretty good wardrobe in my opinion. And here we've got similar, but okay, it's not quite as big, but lift that up like that, and you can see we've got the space there, and below it this will come up, and down there is the boiler. Why is the boiler so big? Wouldn't a smaller boiler do? Maybe. Oh, I'll tell you, I'll leave that up like that for the moment, just to make the point. Steps up to the bed when it's like this. If it's not like this, then you would access possibly via a ladder, or you just jump up yourself. No storage in the steps. Kitchen is, I think, quite practical, particularly for a vehicle of this size. We have got here 2 burners, a relatively small sink, I suppose, but it's of a shape which means it can be used. If it's a round one, I prefer an oblong one. Just my idea. I think you can get more in them than you can in a round one. You've got a bit of food preparation space here. You've got storage above it. And here we have a deep drawer and a not so deep drawer. Fridge down here from Vitrifigo. It's a two-way fridge. And here we have, I presume that's like a spice rack. Now, normally I don't go in for this type of thing, but in that case I'm going to show an exception. It's used a space which otherwise possibly wouldn't be used. So from that point of view, it gets my mark of approval. I do appreciate though, behind here, other than for the leads going to the gas, there'll be a lot of empty space in there. Let's have a look in this. Very wide, spacious, I'd have to say, washroom for a vehicle of this size. We've got one, there's only one drainage hole down there. This will come backwards and forwards, although to move it backwards and forwards, I'm not so keen on this type of a closure. I think it looks a bit homemade. It looks a bit like the sort of thing I might have put on if I built it. So having said that, maybe it's the best form of closure for something like this. A magnet might stop being so strong after a while. Although I need to point out, the magnet which I put on my vehicle to hold the door open 5 years ago, the outer door, is still pretty tough, and I'm living in my van, so I'm using the door several times a day. Now let's umbrella holder, at least I think that's what they're there for. As we come in, we've got this seat here, and I just can't really see what the point of putting a seat here is, unless it's to take your shoes off as you come in, or maybe it's to fill in a part of the vehicle which looks as though it is there to fill in a space. Could be. Notice also the several layers on the floor size here. Maybe at this price range, in 88,000 or whatever it was, 80,000 or whatever, is a huge amount of money, I agree. But the floor has been raised here because of technical infrastructure under it. Obviously this has been the bit here where it's been just joined onto the base vehicle, in this case a Peugeot. Anyway, storage up here. And storage of sorts up here. As you leave or come in, you can see what the state of play is on your batteries, and you've got your heating up there as well. So the CAN 2-burner system, I think it looks really good. It does need a closure on top of it, as this one's got. We see the same thing in the Dreamer vans, which are part of Rapido, and I think 2 burners is probably sufficient, although there are people who disagree. Obviously it depends what you're doing, everybody's different. I've got a place down there for keeping, I don't know, magazines or something in. Let's come outside. Just say then, what's that mean? Don't take your bags out, or does it mean don't take them in as you're coming in? Here I won't open it because it's been locked, it's been taped on, but this is a mosquitiera, stop the insects getting in. I'll take you around the outside now. So here we've got a very good demonstration of the size of the garage, but look, a very good demonstration of getting 2 large batteries in the back. Now I'm presuming that 2 large batteries is an option. There'll be more details in the description, so that'll give for some technical information which I might not necessarily remember as I'm going through. In here we find 1 gas canister space, and as always I suggest you get a refillable option. You'd have to drill a hole in the side of the wall here, or get somebody to do it for you if you can't, not very good at doing things like that, such as myself, and that be much easier remove the empty canister and put in a full one. It gives you a look at the back. And a walk around. Right, okay, I like the size, I like the layout. What I don't like so much is the product quality, I'd have to say. There I was unable to put the the door lift over the bed back down, so that got stuck even though I did absolutely correctly. And also the slider for the partition came off in my hand. Now it could have been left like that, but joking apart, I know perfectly well it wasn't me that was responsible for either of those things. So I'd have to say, in my opinion, got good points and it's got bad points. So there you go. That's the Rapido C55. Now in here you can see I've got the full Rapido range on this site. Now we don't have all the Rapido vehicles here at Stuttgart, but you will find them on this website. So thanks very much for being with me today, and all the best from me in Stuttgart. This is the first time ever that I have accepted any support for promoting a product on YouTube. Now I've been on YouTube now for 15 years and I've been doing the van life stuff for a number of years as well. The reason I haven't accepted support in the past is because I felt it had to be something which I really agreed with, and a product I knew. So I had to feel 100% about recommending it to others. This is Solbio, and this is a toilet additive. Now, what's the point of a toilet additive? Well, when you use the toilet, then it goes into a cassette and you have to dump the cassette somewhere. Now, if you just urinate into it, then there should be no problem. But if you put any solids into it, then it makes it a bit more difficult. Now, one thing you can do is if you have constant diarrhea, then you may not need a toilet additive because you should be able to dump it without any problems. For those of you who don't suffer from this problem, then one thing you might want to consider doing, in fact, one thing you're going to have to consider doing is using a toilet additive. Now, there's two types. There's the blue stuff, which is manufactured by a number of companies, and it works pretty well. No problems there whatsoever with the way it works. Oh, there's the green stuff, which is ecologically based. Now, up until now, the green stuff didn't work as well as the blue stuff. But I think with Solbio, we're now seeing a comparative working rate. It works just as well. So it's ecological. What it's got inside are natural soaps, it's got natural citric acid, it's got essential oils and plant extracts, and that breaks down whatever it is that you're throwing into the toilet, or releasing into the toilet I should say. And when you come to a dump station, you can just tip up your cassette and it all flows in nicely. Now you may say, well, I have constant diarrhea and so therefore I don't need something like that. Well, that may be the case, but one thing that this has got, it's got a rather pleasant fragrance to it as well. Now, I personally like the fragrance of the blue stuff, but I know I'm in a small minority on that one. One thing I noticed when I've been doing tests of really small vehicles, such as 5.5 meter ones above all, so as soon as you open the door, you have this fragrance, let's say, of the blue stuff sort of hits you. Now, with this one here, Solbio, it's got a more natural sort of smell. It's a bit eucalyptus. I'm trying to find a good way of actually describing it, and the best thing I could think of, it's got, you know, these cough drops or these eucalyptus like sweets, and it's got this type of fragrance within the toilet anyway. And if you're in a small van, I bet it could fill up the small van. I haven't really noticed it sort of when I'm sitting here in this position, for example, but maybe I'm not using enough of it to actually notice. Next thing is it safe to use? Well, the thing with the blue stuff is there are good reasons to suggest that it may not be completely safe to use. I mean, it does break things down in a chemical manner. I mean, I'm not going to suggest it's dangerous or anything like that, but I don't think it is particularly good for the environment. If it comes into contact with plants or things of this nature, I mean, there's warnings that, I mean, if you get it in a fish tank or something like that, I don't know why you want to put it in a fish tank, but if you put it in the fish tank, then the fish will die. So this, as it comes from natural things, you assume that it's okay. Now the blue stuff as well, I've noticed I always get it on my hands. And not only that, I mean, obviously I sort of miss the toilet as well. Sorry, I get it into the toilet bowl. I don't miss the toilet, I miss the sort of the hole where you open up for the toilet. And it sort of stains, and it takes a few flushes for it to actually go down. I don't know if that's bad or not, but it's with this stuff, it's almost translucent. Not quite, but almost. As is when you dump it out, which seems a bit odd the first time. You think, hang on just a minute, I'm sure I didn't just urinate in there. But that's the way it is. The manufacturers say it doesn't cause skin irritation. I have never experienced skin irritation from the blue stuff, but I have heard of people having this problem. And let's have another look at it, because here it comes in two. One's for marine use and the other's for motorhome use. Now it could be that mariners use the toilet or they eat something a bit more dodgy, or I don't know, but it's different. This contains 40 doses, and it's dosed via this thing down here, this little tap. Now I know there are people who are suspect of these taps. Now, I previously worked in the packaging industry, and indeed I used to give talks being an expert. I don't think I was much of an expert, but I do know a little bit about it. This technology is perfectly safe, I think, to use. It's not, I mean, it's often used in bag-in-the-box applications, and so you get wine or something. The wine's in a box, and they've got this tap that sticks out, and you use it. In the company I used to work, where we produced blueberry juice, we used this technology, and I've never known the taps to go wrong in my direct experience. But when they first came out, I agree there was problems with them. I've heard of people saying they put something in the fridge or in the van and something hit here. In theory, you're supposed to knock both ends down at the pull them both up and press down at the same time to get it to work. So I mean, I do accept that these things can go wrong. Just as, I mean, if you don't close a bottle properly, everything will go out. But I make that part. Other than that, the bag may seem a little unsturdy because of the way it is. But I can tell it's made from recycled. It's green plastic. It's I think it's quite safe. So there's some observations on this, and as far as I'm concerned, I really do think it is a good solution for you. Now, it costs roughly the same as the blue stuff. There isn't much difference. Now, I do appreciate that if there was a price difference, that might be a problem. Although, I think if you're into motorhomes, then you probably like living in harmony with nature, which is what I'm in it for, really. I think it's the call of nature, this contact with nature and all the rest of it. So I think that protecting nature is something that I would want to do. Whether or not I'm prepared to pay a premium, yes, maybe I'm prepared to pay a little bit of a premium for it, but in all honesty, between this one and the blue stuff, there's hardly any difference. Right, so if you find that of interest, there will be a link below. It's not an affiliate link, it just tells you where to get the stuff from. I'm not on any affiliate programs at all, deliberately, so nobody can accuse me of trying to promote something to get the affiliate link, but I do absolutely believe in this product. So, thanks very much for watching. I am currently at a place called Alexa Camping, or Camping Alexa, in northern Poland, and you may have heard some of the noises on the outside from the campsite, but I shall tell you more about that in another video. So, there you go. This is about Solbio. Thanks for watching.